All right, guys, and I got this practice test video. 1 and 2, you need your identity page, and it's asking for sine 2 theta, cosine 2 theta, tangent 2 theta. Those are the double angle identities you see on your paper. Hopefully you got that paper with you. Before we do those though, number 1, they gave me the sine. You also need to find the cosine. I'm gonna use the x instead of theta, so I gotta find cosine x. Now, sine is 5/13 in quadrant 1. You can either go cosine squared plus sine squared is 1 to find the other one, or you can just draw a triangle if you want to. Go like, draw your right triangle. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Do Pythagorean theorem. You're going to find out that side is 12, which means cosine for number 1, cosine theta is going to be 12/13, which is important because when you go to find sine 2 theta, I'm going to put 2x. Sine 2x is 2 times sine x times cosine x. That's on your sheet. Sine x is 5/13, cosine x is 12/13. They're both positive in quadrant 1. Multiply that together, you get 120 over 169. That's sine 2x. If you do cosine 2x, you have 3 options of identities to use. It doesn't matter which one you pick. I'm going to do 2 cosine squared minus 1. So I'm going to do 2 times, and I'm going to square a cosine, which means I'm squaring the 12/13. So if I square 12, I get 144. Square 13, you get 169, and you're going to do minus 1. If you work that out, you're going to get 288 over 169 minus 1. And 1 is really 169 over 169. So if you do 288 minus 169, I got to punch it in real quick because I'm afraid I'm going to mess it up in the video. 288 minus 169. I'm getting 119. 119 over 169. Now, when you get to, that's 119. When you get the tangent 2x, the best way to do that instead of doing the formula is just do the sine over the cosine. Remember, tangent is sine over cosine. So if I put 120 over 69 over 119 over 169, the 169s would cancel, and I would just get 120 over 119. Okay, so those 3 answers right there, that's number 1. Quite a bit, by the way. Number 2, same kind of problem. So make sure you can do these because there's 2 of them. This one says cosine is 4/5. Hopefully by now, you know, if you see 4/5, that means it's a 3, 4, 5 triangle. But just in case, I'll draw it anyway. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. And if you do a squared plus b squared c squared, you can find out that side is 3. Now it's quadrant 3, which means sine is going to be opposite over adjacent hypotenuse, which is 3/5. But it's negative because it's in quadrant 3. Now I'm going to do the same thing I just did. If I find sine 2x, I'm going to go 2 times sine x times cosine x, and just multiply that out. That's going to be 24/25. That's my sine. Cosine 2x, do the same thing I did last time. 2 times cosine squared. If I square the 4, I get 16. Square the 5, I get 25. Minus 1, that's going to be 32/25 minus 1, which is 25/25. That gives me 7/25 for my cosine. And then tangent 2x. Tangent, remember, sine over cosine. So I'm going to put 24/25 over 7/25. The 25s would cancel. I get 24/7. And there you go. Number 2. That took a little while. All right, number 3. Use half angle to evaluate. Okay, so because we don't know cosine 67.5, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to double it. And if you double 67.5, you get 135 over 2. So I'm looking for the half angle with cosine. It looks like this, plus or minus the square root of 1 plus cosine x. X in this case is 135 degrees over 2. Now, the plus or minus is going to come from that angle right there. 67.5 is in quadrant 1. Cosine's positive in quadrant 1. So I can just drop the plus and minus and put a positive there. I'm going to start working this thing out. Cosine of 135 degrees is negative square root of 2 over 2. Get that by looking at my circle. And I got to simplify that. So I'm going to multiply the top and bottom of that fraction by 2. So I get 2 minus the square root of 2 over 4. The 2's cancel on that one, and 2 times 1 and 2 times 2. And the only thing I can do differently now to finish this is to take the square root of the bottom, because I do know what the square root of 4 is. It's 2. And so as ugly as that answer is, that's what you should get there. All right? So we're going to erase this stuff. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Sorry about this. Okay, number 4. Find an equivalent expression for each of the following. The first one says cosecant x plus 2. If you look at your identity for, you don't see a cosine, a cosecant with the plus. Remember, cosecant's reciprocal of sine. So I'm going to actually do the sine addition, which is the sum of difference identity. So if I follow that, I'm going to be sine of x times cosine pi over 2 plus cosine x sine pi over 2. Remember, I'm actually doing this. So at the end of this process, I'm going to flip my answer. All right, so get sine x, cosine of pi over 2, by the way, is 0, which is nice. Cosine x times, what's an x? Sine pi over 2 is 1. 0 times sine x is gone. That's just cosine x. That's what I get. But I got to do reciprocal of cosine x, which is secant x. So that's the answer to 4. Let's go to 5, same kind of problem. Cotangent x minus pi over 2. I don't do cotangent. There's a tangent one, so I'm going to do the tangent. I'm going to go tangent. I'm just following the sum of difference identities on your sheet. Tangent x minus tangent pi over 2 over 1 plus, actually I got these backwards. No, I don't do good. 1 plus tangent x, tangent pi over 2. I'm just going to work that out. So tangent x minus, now tangent pi over 2, remember, is y over x. That's actually undefined. So that's undefined, that's out of here. Tangent times undefined, that's out of here. That's just 1. So you're going to end up with just tangent. But actually, I don't like that way since it's undefined. It does bother me. Sorry, but it's going to make this a bit longer. But let's do it a different way. You know cotangent? Cotangent is really cosine over sine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do cosine of x minus pi over 2 over sine of x minus pi over 2. And use those sum and difference identities. So cosine of minus goes cosine cosine plus sine sine. And sine subtraction goes sine cosine minus cosine sine. And now we can just work this out. On my numerator, cosine pi over 2 is 0. Sine pi over 2 is 1. On the denominator, again, cosine pi over 2 is 0. Sine pi over 2 is 1, which gives me sine over cosine, which, by the way, gives me tangent. Same thing. It's kind of weird, but same thing. I like that way much better, though. All right, number 6. Number 6 says simplify. It's got a square there, so we're going to square, multiply, double square. So I'm going to square the sine, multiply together double. I'm going to put a 2 in front of sine x cosine x. Then I'm going to square the cosine. And I would be done right here, except for I know what sine squared plus cosine squared is. That's 1. So I'm going to write 1 plus 2 sine x cosine x. And that's it right there. Number 7 says factor and simplify. It may help you a little bit to like substitute here, make that x fourth minus y fourth, and factor it, then put the sines and cosines back in. I don't know. That's what I'm going to do right here. So I'm going to make that x squared plus y squared. That's the difference of squares, by the way. X squared minus y squared. Look at this one. It's another difference of squares. So I'm going to have x plus y, x minus y. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to substitute my sines and cosines back in there. So I'm going to have sine squared plus cosine squared times sine x plus cosine, that's an x, cosine x, sine x minus cosine x. Okay, so I factored in, plugged them back in. So sine squared plus cosine squared is just 1. All right, so that's done. So what that leaves me with right here, it leaves me with, I'm just going to go ahead and multiply these. It leaves me with sine squared minus cosine squared. Or you could also leave it like that right there, and that's fine too. Number 8, let's be the next slide. There it is, number 8, simplify again. My numerator, I pretend like I said this, x squared plus 2x plus 1. And think about how you'd factor that. What factors of 1 add up to be 2? It'd be x plus 1, x plus 1. So I'm going to do the same thing. Instead of the x's, I'm going to put the sine back in. I'm going to say sine x plus 1 times sine x plus 1. The denominator also happens to be sine x plus 1, which means they cancel. And it just leaves me with sine x plus 1 for the 15th time. Number 9, use the sum of difference formulas to evaluate cosine 15 degrees. So I got to write 15 using values that I know. I know 15 degrees is really 45 minus 30. So that's what I'm about to do. Since it says cosine subtraction, I'm looking at my sheet, and I'm going to do cosine subtraction. So I got cosine 45, cosine 30, plus, cosine's weird that way, sine 45, that's a 45, sine 30. It's the worst 45 I've ever made. Okay, so let's figure this out. Cosine 45 is square root of 2 over 2. Cosine 30 is square root of 3 over 2. Sine 45 is square root of 2 over 2. And cosine 30 is 1/2. So what that gives me in my first fraction is a square root of 6 over 4. And over here I get a square root of 2 over 4. And if you want to, you can make it one big fraction and just put square root of 6 plus square root of 2 over 4. Remember the other day we got that problem over and over and over again. That answer, I mean. Number 10, write cosine plus sine then evaluate. Okay, cosine plus sine. I'm looking for that in my sum of difference, and it is actually this. It actually matches up with cosine of u minus v. That's my u, that's my v. So if I do cosine of 83 minus 53, that's going to give me cosine 30 degrees, and everybody knows cosine 30 degrees is square root of 3 over 2, and that's your final answer. Some graphing here, number 11 and 12, find the amplitude, period, phase shift, blah, blah, blah. So amplitude is the first one is 1. The period, you remember do 2 pi divided by b, in this case 2 pi over 4, that's pi over 2. There is no phase shift because there's nothing added or subtracted in the parentheses. So let's graph it here. Because there's no phase shift, I'm starting at 0. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. The period is pi over 2, that's what goes there. Halfway to pi over 2 is pi over 4. Amplitude is 1. It's cosine. Starts at 1, goes down, up. So my 1 period's going to look just like that. Good graph right there. Okay, number 12, same stuff. Amplitude is 2. The period, 2 pi divided by 1, because 2 pi, there's a 1 in front of the x. The phase shift this time is negative c over b, which would be negative pi over 1, or negative pi. So start the graph. The negative pi just means I'm starting my graph at negative pi. I'm starting it right there. Also, don't forget we could do this. You could take the parentheses part and say x plus pi equals 2 pi, because that's where I usually end. Move that pi over. That leaves you 1 pi. That's where I'm going to stop. So I'm going to go from negative pi to positive pi for my graph. My y-axis is halfway between those two, so that's the second tick. So there's a tick, there's a tick. It's sine this time. I got to go up to 2, down to negative 2. Sine starts at 0 and goes up, down, up, just like that. And there you have it. 13, 14. You don't have to graph these two. You just got to tell the stuff. Okay, so amplitude on 13 is 3. The period is 2 pi divided by 1/2, which would be, if you keep change flip, gives you 4 pi. And the phase shift is negative c over b, which would be positive pi over 2 divided by 1/2. Keep change flip again, pi over 2 times 2 over 1. 2's cancel, you get pi. So there's your 3 answers for 13. 14, I'm going to erase down 14 somehow. It didn't copy just right. It's down there at the bottom. That's where there's 14 right there. So on 14, the amplitude is 2. Remember, it's got to be positive. The period is 2 pi divided by b. In this case, that's going to be pi. The phase shift is negative c over b, so it's positive pi over 2. And that's it. All you got to do on that one. 15. Find f of g of x and the domain. F of g of x means you take function g and plug it into f. So I'm plugging it right in there. I'm plugging function g, the x squared plus 3. And for that x, it will look just like that. Hopefully you look at the 3's and like think self, they're going to cancel. So it leaves me square root of x squared, which is x. So there's f of g of x. Now the way you find domain for a composition is you look at the second function in the composition, which is g. Find the domain of that, which is all reals, because there's no fraction or square root in there. Then look at your final answer, which is also all reals. And so your domain is going to be all reals, because they were both all reals. It's whatever they have in common. 2 more. Almost got it. It's been kind of long. Sorry about that. 16 says g of negative 2. I'm going to plug negative 2 into the top function because it's less than 1, which will give me negative 2 plus 4, which is 2. Then I'm going to find g of 1. I'm going to take the 1 and plug it in the same function because it's less than or equal to 1. It'd be 1 plus 4, which is 5. And then the last part, g of 5. I'm going to plug that one in the bottom one because 5 is greater than 1, so I get 8 minus 5, which is 3. And last one, 17. Tell algebraically whether the graph is symmetric with respect to the x, the y, and the origin. Now to check the x-axis, it's backwards of what you think. To check the x-axis, you plug in a negative y. So I'm going to put a negative y in right here and just work it out and see if I get the same thing. If I plug a negative y in, I get this, which is not the same thing that I started with, so that's a no. If I want to check for the y-axis, you plug in a negative x. So if you plug in a negative x, you get this. Work it out, you get negative 3x minus 2y is 3. Is that the same thing we started with? No. So the y-axis doesn't work. For origin, you plug in a negative x and a negative y. And if I do that, I get negative 3x plus 2y equals 3. And you see, is that exactly the same thing? Or is that the exact opposite that we started with? It's close. It's almost the exact opposite, but the 3 messes it up. So that's a no. All 3 of those are no. They all 3 could be yes. You could have 1 yes, 2 no's, 2 yeses, 1 no. You got to check them all just to make sure. So make sure tomorrow you know how to check, because the majority of your points are going to come from showing your work as far as, how you did it. So hope that helps. Watch as much as you need to. Please study. It's a pretty good test. So make sure you study well. See you tomorrow.